This may be a part 1, part 2 video, so try to bear with me. This is the last night, well, officially, the last night of the January 6th hearings going public. This time they focused on the 187 minutes of the attack. 187 minutes. Now, first things first, the committee chair had COVID, so he had to do it virtually. Anyway, the hearing took us inside the White House itself with Donald Trump and his advisors. Well, first things first, I should tell you now, they're thinking about doing more hearings in September. Now, let's get to the point here. Mitch McConnell, on February 13th, Moscow Mitch, said that Donald Trump was fully responsible and could have ended the riot. Now, the Secret Service was concerned, McCarthy was concerned, and wondered why Trump couldn't stop the riot. He didn't call the military, he didn't call law enforcement, nothing at all, until 4:17 p.m., 187 minutes after the riot started. And Donald Trump did nothing. Nothing to stop it, nothing to do nothing. Now, Adam Kinzinger, one of the people actually doing it this time, in this hearing, said that Kevin McCarthy condemned Trump. Joe Mark Milley, the current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, he condemned it. But the main mission that he was trying to get through is that the primary mission of the riot was to actually delay the count, the electoral votes count. Now, the witnesses for the night's hearing were Matthew Penninger, I'm sorry if I messed up that name, the former Deputy National Security Advisor, and Sarah Matthews, the Deputy Press Secretary. They both gave some pretty striking testimony about what happened during the riot, saying that even after Donald Trump actually went into the White House after his speech was over, he still wanted to go to the Capitol with his followers, even witnesses confirming that the rioters were armed and confirming the altercation between Donald Trump and the Secret Service agents. In fact, in the former White House employee interview, he said that Mr. Arturo expressed to me that the president was irate. Now, the credibility of the last witness saying that the president was fighting with Secret Service actually is beginning to look very, very well at this point. After 11 minutes in the riot, at 11:25 p.m., he was in the dining room. The funny thing about it is there were no photos for the entire 187 minutes. You'd think that the President of the United States would want to be photographed, but it didn't happen. Because they all knew that Trump did something wrong, and Trump said, no photos, period. I want any photos, nothing. Now, Pat Cipollone, we saw video testimony from Pat Cipollone, obviously, from General Keith Kellogg, the National Security Advisor to the then Vice President Mike Pence, and both of them said there were no calls from Donald Trump to Homeland Security, to the DOD, to the National Guard, to law enforcement. No calls from Donald Trump in the entire time. The entire time of the 187 minutes that happened. No one heard from Trump. Not one person. But here's the thing. Cipollone witnessed phone calls from Donald Trump to senators to try and stop the electoral count. Two of those senators were Senator David Perdue and the White House switchboard. Now, the Daily Diary says that there was no entry in the diary from 1:21 p.m. to 4:03 p.m. That's very interesting. Now, another call that Donald Trump was witnessed was to Rudy Giuliani. Lord knows what that conversation was for. Now, it gets even worse because a former White House employee also said that the president didn't want anything done. That is not looking good for Trump at this point. Now, it only gets worse from that end. Trump still refused to do anything. At 1:49 p.m., minute 39, I should say, Trump tweeted this photo. I should say this video, actually. His speech on the ellipse. No calls to get out of the White House. Nothing. And obviously, at 2:13 p.m., the rioters, the attackers of the Capitol broke in. That was minute 63. Now, here's the National Security Council chat log. From 2:13 to 2:24, they were trying to evacuate Mike Pence. At 2 o'clock, pipe bombs were found. 2:13, the rioters broke in, and at that very point, rioters wanted Mike Pence dead. This is a video clip from Fox News, not too long after the riot actually started, and it's just getting worse.
The president, as we all saw, fired this crowd up. They've all, tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 or more, have gone down to the Capitol or elsewhere in the city, and they're very upset. Now, I jumped down as soon as we heard the news that Brett gave you about Mike Pence. I started talking to these people. I said, what do you think? One woman, an Air Force veteran from Missouri, said she was, quote, disgusted to hear that news and that it was his duty to do something. And I told her, I said, there's nothing in the Constitution unilaterally that Vice President Pence could do. She said, that doesn't matter. He should have fought for Trump.
On minute 74, at 2:24 p.m., of course, the famous tweet. Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do blah, blah, blah. That fired up the crowd even more.
We're going to give riot warning. We're going to try and get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
Pence was evacuated at 2:26, but the riot got even worse. Still wanted to delay the count, and obviously called Senator Tommy Tuberville to do it. But he had to hang up because the rioters were breaking in. He called Senator Josh Hawley. And after he made his vote, he went outside, walked across with his fist in the air, the infamous fist pump. He went back inside, but he had to be evacuated as well. And to make things worse for him, for all of them, is that every one of the senior staff that was with Donald Trump that day is testifying that Donald Trump could have said or done something. And the biggest testimony came from Jared Kushner. His own fucking son-in-law, Jared Kushner. So, part 2 is coming up soon. Trust me, it's not going to end well. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.